Ricky, going into winter, which is the best method when going down from 24, 25 down to colder water? My pond is outside, so it's ambient when I'm not heating. Just slowly, absolutely slowly. I'd wind the feed back. That's going to be a big one. So as well as winding the temperature down, you want to be winding the feeding down, and probably, you know, you want to do that in the correct way, because if you're at 24, 25, you start coming off the food too quickly, you're still maintaining temperature, you're going to lose some of them weight gains that you've got over that period. But likewise, you don't want to end up dropping down too much. So, you know, I'd probably make the first step of coming down to, say, from 25 to 22, change a feeding pattern there, because that's where I'd be looking at going from, say, every 2 to 3 hours to probably every 4 hours at that point. And then your next step, bracketing it down slowly, probably down to 18. At that point, probably only feeding a few times a day. Then if you're going cooler than that, you want to wind that feeding right down, probably to you're just on a manual basis, once, twice a day. And I don't know where you're going down to 12, 8, but really, really gradually make sure everything's healthy at the point of starting to turn it down. And then, let's say, slowly bring it down, but make sure you bring the feeding down as well, and just give them some time in them cooler temperature bands. Not to give them loads of time going from 24 to 25, but say 24, 25 down to 22, there's a difference. Down from 22 to 18, there's a difference. Down from 18 to 12, there's a difference. So in all them different, just giving them some time to adjust to that temperature band before you go dropping it again. And that way, you're just going to prevent any kind of shock, and let the body change and everything adapt to that temperature band that they're in. That is the strength of having the heating, that you obviously get that level of control. Carry on from that. Would you keep heating until the weather is below 12 degrees, then turn the heat off and let it slowly fall down to below 12, so don't spend too much time in the 14, 16 range? How would you do it? Yeah, I mean, don't worry. When you say that 14, 16 range, it's when I see people keeping them in that all winter that I find that crazy. But you just decide what you want the end to be. Personally, if you can do it, I wouldn't let it go below 8 degrees. If you can keep it at 12, great. I think some of the stuff that tends to happen more so if you get too cold is obviously you can start throwing pox. Although it's not life-threatening most of the time, sometimes it can cause a bit of colour damage if you get a nasty bit sat over some Benny. Obviously, its presence there is covering the colour. So when it leaves, if it's been like that for a long time, it can actually leave a patch behind where that colour has lightened because it's not got UV to it. So it's things like that you probably want to consider. The warmer you are, the less likely that is to ever throw. And yeah, so just decide where you're at. But like I say, I think from what I've just said before, if you're kind of at 18, your next step would be get it down to 12, and then from 12 to 8, if that's what you're doing, or wherever you're sitting. It's just going to depend on how much you want to invest in that heating and how efficient your heating system is.